Hello, today we are going to work on attention to weight and position and sitting posture. I'm going to use the ball to help demonstrate because it's hard to see. I'm dressed all in black as usual, but also this is just really subtle stuff, so it's hard to see, so the ball will help. And we're going to employ a principle based on a Postural Restoration Institiute exercise called the hip shift, which if you're seeing this video, you may have done something like that with me in the office. So, in sitting, a lot of the times people come in, they're like, oh, I feel better, except for when I sit, and then after I sit, I feel terrible, right? And then I say, well, how are you sitting? And they demonstrate something like this, okay? I mean, I'm exaggerating for effect, but they demonstrate kind of a rolling back on their sit bones and more of a shifting off to the side a lot of the time. So their rib cage is actually moving over to the side, and they've got a lot more weight on the right side or the left side. A lot of times it's the right side, but there's some sort of weight imbalance. And I say, oh, well, how would you fix your posture? And they do something like this. They just kind of like move their ribs. So there's some awareness that the ribs and the pelvis are not in a good alignment or an efficient alignment, but there's no awareness of how to actually get our system to move in a way that's integrated so that we're able to stabilize in those positions and be more efficient. And the secret, my friends, is by keeping weight in the feet. So when I'm sitting right now, obviously I'm sitting on a chair, so most of my weight is on the chair, but I have some weight in my feet as well. So by having weight in my feet, I'm connecting my deeper core and I'm getting myself into a position where I can use my core more efficiently versus having to just slump down and use my passive structures like my ligaments, or really arch up and use a lot of tension in my low back, which is not comfortable and also not excellent for our bodies over the long term. I can actually stack my ribs over my pelvis, have a little weight in my feet, and be more efficient through my core. So using the ball, I'm going to have it in between my knees like I would do for a hip shift. And we're going to employ some proprioceptive understanding of how we want the weight in our feet to be. And when I say proprioceptive, I mean I want you to feel where your body is. So if I'm slumped over here, I can feel very easily that there's weight more on the right pelvis. I also want to start to notice where the weight is on my feet. So I feel in my feet right now that I have more weight on the outside of the right foot, less on the inside. And then more weight on the inside of the left foot, less on the outside, okay? And I can also feel that there's some differences in my femur, which is a fancy word for the long bone. But we're gonna just use the feet today because I want you to start to connect those feet, to start to move your legs, to move your pelvis, to re-engage through the core, okay? So if I'm employing the idea of base of support through my feet, I want to start to think of my feet like I'm using the whole foot. And in doing that, I want you to think about the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the middle of the heel. And keep an eye on this ball right here. Keep an eye on my ribs. I'm not exaggerating this rib cage position for effect. This is actually how I'm sitting because I'm really over on this right side. If I just start to shift a little weight to the inside of the right foot, so now I have the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the middle of the heel of the right side more on the ground, that really dramatically, at least I can feel it, I don't know if you can see this ball rolling, that dramatically changes what happens in my pelvis because my foot bones are connected to my knee bone, is connected to my hip bone, is connected to the pelvis. So just by getting a little bit more weight through the full right foot, I've changed my pelvis. Now, I still feel like I'm not really using this left foot very well. So if I start to think about the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the middle of the heel on this left side, now all of a sudden I feel a lot more centered. I might not be perfect. There's still some things going on with the ribs, possibly, but now I'm more centered over my pelvis and I have a little weight in my feet. And I was just using the ball as a tool for you to be able to see what's going on here. You don't have to have a ball. You can if you want, okay? So here I am. I'm just gonna switch the weight of my feet and get myself more stacked over my pelvis. And if I'm in this position and I'm like, okay, I feel more stacked up, but I still feel kind of a lot of tension or something, I'm just gonna put my hands on my thighs and I'm gonna sink my hands down gently. I don't want my shoulders in my ears. I'm gonna sink my hands down gently into my thighs and I'm gonna traction, which is a way of saying I'm gonna think about force going this way across my thighs. I'm gonna think about a little traction, keep that weight in my feet, and I'm just gonna see if I'm here and I breathe normally, I'm just gonna see if I start to feel a little activity. Oh, there it is in my core, okay? So as I feel that activity in my core, I start to notice that I have weight through both feet, I have weight in both sides of my pelvis, and then I have my ribs a little bit more centered. And that's where I like people to start a lot of the time, just for sitting posture awareness. we're not trying to be perfect. We're not trying to hold ourselves in a pattern. We're trying to just have a little bit more awareness about where we're at, because when we have awareness, then we can start to change it. And then we can start to strengthen around it. And then we can start to actually have better movement patterns. And that's the exercise.